Hello everyone, welcome back to the Driver Mod. We're here with a couple Shelby friends, getting together for a little Memorial Day barbecue. But as you saw in the title of this video, today's video is about Nick and the story behind his Odin Supercharged GT350. It's absolutely insane. If you are a longtime subscriber of the channel, about May last year, we took him for a ride in his own car. Scared him a little bit, but the car has a long story to tell since then. We're gonna let him tell it.
What's up, man?
All right, Nick. Tell us a little bit about your 2017
fun, right?
Odin Supercharged GT350.
Well, as Anthony just mentioned, it's 2017. We'll go with how it's set up right now, and then we'll give you a little backstory. So, 17 GT350 with the Gen 2 Voodoo. However, it's had some upgrades. It was sent to fast forward race engines. Did a sleeve block, Manly rods, Manly pistons, Oliver rods. Lowered the compression to 11 to 1. Just for a little bit of added safety. Basically stock heads, we replaced 2 cams, some new timing stuff, built an oil pump here, crank sprocket, some new upgraded valve springs. Motor's good for 1400 horsepower. BMP Odin Supercharger, 88mm pulley, seen around 12 pounds of boost. Have their ice tank that I still haven't even used ice in yet, but the IATs say pretty cool as is anyway. So I can only imagine what it would do with some ice. Let's see what else. This Fat Fab. Coolant Reservoir. Got my JLT catch cans that are turned into breathers. To note, anyone that wants to do the same or incorporate any kind of breather, you just need to make sure you gut this check valve that comes out of the little nipple out of the valve cover. 4 Innovations fuel system. ID 1300 injectors. Twin 465s in the back. 2 fuel pumps, both running all times, no hop switch. AEM boost and fuel pressure gauge, twin dash pod inside the interior. We can show you that. It's got an MGW shifter, Mantic twin disc clutch. Otherwise, pretty much stock interior. Don't mind the dirt. We've been having fun today driving.
Yeah, I came up here to visit him for the weekend. He got up here Saturday. It's now Sunday, so we had a nice 2 full days of pretty much nothing but car stuff. Yeah. Good time, a lot of miles, but a lot of good fun, a lot of memories.
A lot of smiles.
But that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You know.
Something I forgot to mention too. Corsa headers, Borla mufflers, Borla attack mufflers, P51 wheels, NT05s in the rear. They are okay. NT555 G2s in the front. We're gonna need some tires soon. As far as cosmetics. That's not why we're here. We're here for performance, but while we're here, the 500 deck lid.
Yeah, so you guys, look at this. I really am digging this. This is something that I may end up doing. It looks absolutely gnarly.
Blacked out tips because they're annoying to clean, so they look good black. Yeah. Now a little history with the car. Oh, we gotta show them the hood now.
Oh yes, so Nick's done a lot of work to this car himself. A lot of the stuff he is, put in place on his own. Like he moved because he got the blower. Oh, that's another thing too. He had to put this here. He wanted to keep that, and because he kept it a flat plane, even though he boosted it and had the motor built, he kept it a flat plane crank. Just little subtle touches that he's done to the car to really make it his own and really make it a super unique car. I mean, there's the chassis number right there, build date.
I just wanted to keep it as OEM looking as possible. Obviously, the car is heavily modified, but I'm not one for very eccentric colors or anything. I wanted it to look like it almost came this way. And pay tribute to, what the guys before did with this car, which is perfect out of the box. But I'm crazy and like to touch and modify everything I have. So yeah, be able to show them the hood vent.
Show them the crown jewel. He cut this hood himself, guys. So do not be afraid to get your hands a little dirty.
Bada bing, bada boom.
100% done by the owner.
That is a Carter's Custom hood vent, which comes exposed metal. I had it powder coated, and then I bought the Shelby decal from Aftershocks decals, I believe, online. It was like 20 bucks. They have a multitude of different sizes. I originally got a smaller one by mistake, and then I bought the bigger one. Just thinking
that size works better.
What's that?
I said that size works better. It fits perfectly.
So a little history about the car. I bought it in 2019. It's 2017. I bought it in August 2019 with 12,000 miles from one owner, clean title, for $39,000. Nowadays, people are paying arms and legs.
55, 60.
It's insane. So after 2 months owning that car, the original first-gen motor was replaced under warranty for excess oil consumption. It burned about 2 quarts in less than 600 miles. And that wasn't even really driving other than just basic, you know, commuting. I was still learning the car. I was taking some time to get used to it. It was still burning oil. I can imagine if I was really, you know, pacing it. So they replaced it with the Gen 2. That was on 15,000 miles, and I drove that for, I put 24,000 miles on that car. It was great.
He has
minimal oil.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, but he has more miles on the Gen 2 motor after it got replaced than we have on our entire car. We're sitting at about 22,500 miles.
We got 47, almost 48,000 on the car.
Now we've got
completely.
Wow.
So to pick up at 15,000 miles, they replaced the motor with the Gen 2. Put about 24,000 on that, and like I said, burned minimal oil. Really only under heavy load, and really, if I was living in the high RPMs, having some spirited, you know, driving and twisties and all that would you know, burn a little bit, but I mean nothing. I think I might have added half to a quart, maybe between, you know, 3,000–4,000 mile interval oil changes. Otherwise, it didn't burn any at all. And then we boosted the car with this exact same setup, and that lasted 8,000 miles before bending 4 rods. I was chasing a ghost for a while. I had a bypass issue. Ended up putting a restrictor in the bypass valve to slow the opening and closing.
All for drivability.
It was shutting really quick under part throttle, and just over time that just
initial punch
of lean air. I could not catch it on a data log for the life of me. And finally, once I was able to catch it on a data log and the tuner look at it, they were able to see what was happening. But unfortunately, the engine met its demise shortly after. So, you know, we learned a lot. Still working out some kinks. I mean, otherwise drives great. Doesn't like 6th gear for whatever reason, low load, but otherwise everything seems to be pretty good. So made 820, 624 to the wheels. It's got a new tune in it with 1 more degree of timing, and maybe a little bit more than that now. It drives great. So Anthony liked it, so now it's time for me to scare the shit out of it.
Yeah, show you what it's like. Now, again, this is still the second engine that this car had. It did get rebuilt, but it is still the 2nd gen block. Heads, they lowered the compression for added, like almost like a safety measure. I mean, 12-to-1 compression, not super friendly to boosting. It was actually my personal recommendation that he do that. He listened, and it's making just as much power as it was before. And he's got that added, you know, just, it's all about little things building up to the, you know, greater sum.
So
all right.
There's no reason to have that compression.
Well, let's go take it for a drive. All right, guys, we're gonna demonstrate. This is a hot start, so just take a gander at this. That's a hot start. All right, let's go. All right, so we're still on stock transmission, stock diff, stock axles, stock drive shaft, Mantic clutch.
Which is not really the friendliest.
It does not like slow speed maneuvering, for sure.
A lot of RPMs get going. And it's like, the engagement is like middle to top.
Yeah, it's very high. This freaking camera's gonna trying to hold this camera straight up. Not easy. Car still retains a lot of its handling characteristics. You just have to be really careful the way you modulate that throttle. Obviously, being boosted, way more power on tap as soon as you hit it. So
yeah, 2nd gear, really got to you got to be tricky with it, and not just be, you know, overzealous and punch it, or, you know.
Definitely, yeah. You have to be more finesse with it. Than windshield approach faster than they appear. All right, guys, we just made it back driving the Odin Supercharged GT350. Car's fast, impressive, no denying that. But undoubtedly, the most impressive part of this build is who did most of the work. You're looking at him.
Well,
tell us everything you did personally on this car, Nick.
Let's see. The first thing I did the shifter on jack stands. Then I did headers again on jack stands.
Fast forward to the engine.
Fast forward to the engine.
Engine starts speaking Spanish.
Engine starts speaking Spanish. So it's knock knock. Pulled the whole thing out in my garage. Tore everything down. Not the engine itself, but took the blower off. Pulled all the bumper, splash shield, everything. Pulled the hood off. Took the whole motor out in the garage. Drove it there myself. Picked it up 3 months later when it was done, and put everything back together in my garage. Put the motor back in. Got everything pretty much 80% of the way with Anthony's help. He came over and put the transmission in because that was being a little bit of a pain. But yeah, I mean,
transmission weight coming down easy. All that weight going back up, not so easy. So we were able to get that done.
It's surreal that the car is driving again. I'm got comfortable with it broken. It's kind of, I'm like I'm walking on eggshells, but I'm very proud of myself. It's a big responsibility, a big job. A lot of people get scared at to get their hands dirty, but you can't. Just patience, be careful, be organized, and you can do it. I got to give Nick Curtin from Florida Auto Surgeons a lot of credit too, because he initially did the beginning of this build with the blower before the motor went. Due to time constraints, and I was a little hesitant at the time to try and tackle this myself, so he came highly recommended. So that's good to him. He did the build initially, as well as a few other odds and ends that I needed. And then, well, when the engine started speaking Spanish, and this is a very expensive fix to get the engine built, I said I have no choice. I have to get cracking on some of this myself, and I'm happy I did. I saved myself a lot of money. I learned a ton, about the car, the platform, and just myself, pushing how far I can push myself and everything. And then I got to give Nick another shout out too to help me button things up, do the fuel system, and a few other things. So if you're in the Florida area, hit up Nick, Florida Auto Surgeons. He does good work. But yeah, should be proud of myself, happy for everyone that's helped me along the way, and let's hope that this gets a nice, good, long life.